Just want to talk to you guys about the time that I was bullied in high school. And the thing was that I was in metal shop and there was wood shop class, and they were basically a combined classroom. You had the metal shop class and the wood shop class, and there was a hallway in between each class, right? And you had the teacher, and the teacher would be in his office, and like I said, I was in the metal shop class at this time, and they still had wood shop class going on at the same time, so he would be in his office doing his paperwork and doing the things he needed to do to get his classroom set up for things. And he was a good teacher, and he respected the students enough to say, hey, you guys can weld, you guys can use the tools, just be safe. And he would make sure everybody was safe, and the people that he didn't feel safe, he was like, you can't use these certain tools because I don't condone this as a safe act. So me and my friend, we always hung out on one table, and we never really talked to anybody. We just hung out like at lunch with all the metalhead kids and like the gothic kids, right? And I don't really talk to a lot of people unless I have something to say. Or so this day, this kid started throwing spitwads. Like, you know what spitwads are? I don't know if they call them something else overseas or whatnot, but it's like pieces of paper that they chew up and they go and they spit it at you, right? And they end up just bugging you. They throw like a pencil at me, and one of my buddies was like, you want me to do something? You want me to stand up and do something? Because he's a bigger dude, and my friend trained mixed martial arts at the time, and he was I think like 6 foot, like 180 pounds or something like that, and I'm only like 5'4", like 120 pounds at the time. And now I'm a very muscular dude because I work out all the time. But the thing about it is, this kid would not stop throwing stuff. They end up yelling, "What the f*** are you doing?" And everybody goes, it was like literally a record scratcher. And everybody was like, what the hell's going on? And I was like, you want to know what's going on? This motherfucker is throwing shit at me. And he goes, y'all believe this kid or you believe me? And because he was like the high school bully, they were like, yeah, we don't believe that. But why would some kid that's very quiet stand up in front of like a whole classroom and yell, stop throwing shit? This ain't funny. Because this kid would think it's funny. He would go up and like bear hug somebody and go, I'm just playing around. And he would pick on kids that are smaller than him. And bullies only pick on smaller kids or smaller individuals because they can overpower them. Or look at me and like laugh at me like, this kid ain't gonna do nothing. And he kept throwing shit. And my buddy's like, you want me to do something? Because my buddy always would stand up for his friends, right? He'd always back his friends up. That's what friends do. And I was like, nah, I got this. And he goes, you sure? Because this was like the high school football player, like the professional, like athlete, rich kid. And nobody thinks he does anything wrong. So what I did was, I moved my stuff that I was working on to a desk close by, and he kept throwing stuff. And I said, and I looked at him, I was like, what you gonna do? You gonna keep throwing shit? And he just kept throwing shit like, Trevor ain't gonna do nothing. You're a punk. You ain't gonna do nothing. So I had a mouthful of water, and I know this is a shit move to do. And he walked up to me, and I went, and all the water went all over him. And he goes, grabs me by my shirt, and he goes, you're lucky I'm not gonna do nothing. And I was like, when he grabbed me like this, I looked at him right in his dead in his face and said, hit me, motherfucker, hit me, so I can swing on you. And I said it with like, I don't know if I was like a violent, intense, like rage, because like I said, I was at that point, I was sick and tired of him throwing shit at me. And I looked at him, I was like, you fucking hit me now. And he looked at me like, oh shit, this motherfucker's going crazy. And he didn't want to mess with somebody that is going to go nuts. He wasn't expecting some kid that he picked on to go bananas. And he didn't know what I was capable of doing. But literally, there's no rules in fighting. So I told him, you do something, because I wanted to be able to defend myself, say he hit me, I'm defending myself. So it was self-defense. So I wouldn't get as in trouble. And did he do anything? No. But to this day, like to the end of school year, he never did a damn thing to me again. He never walked around me, never talked to me, never said a damn word. And I believe it's because I kind of snapped on the motherfucker. I was like, at this point, I was like, I'm not taking it anymore, and you're not going to get away with doing what you're doing. You're just not going to get away with trying to pick on me and try to bully me and try to get away with it. It's not going to happen. UFC fighter George St-Pierre on the Joe Rogan podcast, he said he had a similar situation, and he came home one day with a black eye and beat up, and his dad was like, George, what happened? Because this is George St-Pierre, the UFC fighter, and his dad goes, oh, this tall kid on the bus was beating me up. And the kid on the bus was like a hockey player, so he was a big dude for like high school age, and he was like in like 12th grade, and George was like in 9th grade, so he was a couple years difference. And George said even with the martial arts, he couldn't defend himself because the guy was just too big. So the kid kept picking on George, and then when his dad went over to the guy's house, he found out that the guy, that the actual kid himself was getting beat up by his father. And the reason George was telling the story is later in life he seen this kid, and he was a grown-ass adult by that time, and George was a UFC champion at that time. So George was renowned as a guy who could kick the shit out of you if you really wanted to, because he was a professional athlete beating people up basically for a living. So this guy walks up to George. He didn't even recognize who it was at first, and he goes, I'm wondering if you have a little bit of money, because I'm struggling very hard. And George noticed who the guy was from high school. He goes, he got out of the car, and the kid assumed that George was just going to get out of the car and whoop his ass and beat him down. And he backed up, and he was nervous, and he goes, why are you nervous? He goes, you're George St-Pierre, the MMA fighter. You're going to kick the shit out of me for me bullying. And he goes, no, I'm actually not. I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to give you what's in my pocket, which is about $100 Canadian. And I'm going to tell you, you are a good-looking dude. You can get a job. You just need to put effort towards that, and you need to get out of the situation that you're in from your father whooping on you. And he goes to find out that the father goes, no, George doesn't live here anymore. He didn't tell him where he lives. He goes, he doesn't live here anymore. Sorry. And before he can get a phone number or anything, the guy just came over to the house to tell George that thanks for your motivation. It helped me get a job and an apartment, and I'm getting back on my feet, and I'm no longer socializing with my parent that was beating me up. And George heard that and goes, see, I don't hold grudges on people. He goes, I could have got out of the car and beat the living shit out of this kid and put him in the hospital, but I didn't do that because I wanted to teach him a lesson. And because George found out that his dad would beat on him for basically a living, he wanted to prove that beating on somebody is not a good thing. Bullying somebody is not a good thing. So I think the kid in my school that was picking on me because I was like a nice kid. I was a person that's more on the quiet side when I was in high school, and I was just hung around certain people, and I believe the kid just picked on me because his father probably whooped on him, or guy that was picking on him, he realized he was only getting picked on because the guy was getting beat up at his house by his father, who was drunk. And I believe that's what happened with the guy at my school. He probably was getting bullied, so he thought it was okay to bully other people, even though he wasn't maybe that mentality. He just started to bully people. And to be honest, bullying people is not a good thing. Nowadays, people bully online, people bully on like people's social media, people bully on people's like YouTube pages. They'll go and be like, yeah, Jimmy, you're an a-hole, and they'll pick on them while they're at school, pick at them while they're on the school bus, pick on them while they're on social media. So that's why the rise of suicide is so high for these kids, because of this situation. And what the last thing I know about this kid was, I was working retail, and the guy came into the retail store that I was working at and actually asked me for help, and he actually said, I'm sorry for what I put you through high school. And I was like, it's whatever, man. I didn't take his apology. I was just like, whatever, man. It's cool. Shit happens. I'm not going to be your friend. I'm just going to help you out because this is my job, and my job requires me to help out the public. And after this, I'm not going to help you out anymore. I'm not going to talk to you. I probably will never see you again. And I haven't seen him ever since, because I moved across the country to where my family lives. But the bottom line is, it was because a piece of shit like that always made it miserable for me to go to school. So only time I had fun is when I was hanging out with my friends, and I brought my bass guitar to school, and we would just jam on my little pocket amp, and we would jam in front of the school and play like Metallica songs all day during lunch. And that was the only release I had, because I wasn't a guy who would want to throw down a fight. And that day that I was like, fuck this, I'm fighting, I'm throwing it down, the motherfucker was like, I ain't doing nothing. He didn't want to throw back. I wanted him to hit me once so I could at least do something. But would that have changed anything? It might have made the situation worse, because then later in life, or later in the school year, he might have picked on me worse. So I was just like, luckily he didn't do nothing, because I would have threw down. Even my intentions were, if I get knocked out tonight, at least I went down swinging. That's what my intentions were. At least, as always, let me know if you've ever been bullied, or if you've ever been picked on, and what you did to for the situation. Did you tell somebody and it stopped, or did it not stop and you had to kick somebody's ass? So as always, it's your boy Trevor, back with another car vlog, baby.